Ladies and gentlemen, Worldwide Sports presents America's super action sport, Worldwide Wrestling from around the globe. Now let's go ringside for all the action.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chuck Allen, your ring commentator for Worldwide Wrestling, recording live tonight, the beautiful Dayton Sahara Arena. Some tremendous matches lined up for you fans, so don't go away for the next hour. And without further delay, let's go to our ring announcer and Terry Sullivan.
Thank you, Chuck. This bout will be one fall with a 30-minute time limit. Introducing, first of all, from Fremont, Ohio, weighing 245 pounds, Ohio's favorite son, Dandy Dan Miller. And his opponent, from Allen Park, Michigan, weighing 245 pounds, the fabulous Lou Klein.
Introductions, fans, have been made in the ring by ring announcer Terry Sullivan and tonight's referee, Jack Terry. You can see the glove that Dandy Dan Miller has on his right hand that he uses for his now famous arm claw hold. And of course, Klein, the man that's known as with the holds of over 1,001. Many, many holds. He knows how to get into and out of it. It appears as though Dandy Dan Miller knows a few of his own, and Lou Klein sets down. Nice crowd on hand at the Dayton Sahara Arena here in Dayton, Ohio. And as we said from the ring, fans, it's nice to have you with us wherever you may be. Call up a friend and tell them Worldwide Wrestling is on the air. Worldwide Wrestling, produced by Worldwide Sports Incorporated. And now into an arm lock by Dandy Dan Miller on Lou Klein. Lou just twists and spins, and he gets an arm lock of his own, and Dandy Dan Miller gets out of it beautifully. Worldwide Sports Incorporated also produces big-time wrestling. Tremendous action, fans. And in an effort to bring you some of the greatest wrestling matches, Worldwide Wrestling traveling the globe to get you the best bouts possible on your television screen. And Lou Klein gets a count of one on him by referee Jack Terry. A wrist lock by Dandy Dan Miller. And you can see that hand going white. Blood circulation has gone completely out of the hand of Lou Klein, and now twisting that wrist once again, a very painful hold. Lou Klein gets to his feet, twists around, and out of it. Dandy Dan Miller looks on like what happened to the hold. Headlock by Dandy Dan Miller. Wise pressure. Lou Klein's trying to get out of it. Thinking about it for a moment. And Dandy Dan Miller hangs on tight. And sets down and has him in leg scissors now. Lou Klein taking care of Dandy Dan Miller, getting out of that headlock beautifully. Now Dandy Dan, and Lou Klein gets another count of one on him. A couple of times now he's had those shoulders on the mat. Count of two. Into a Boston Crab now by Dandy Dan Miller on Lou Klein. This is a submission hold. And let's see if Lou Klein can hang on. A submission hold by Dandy Dan Miller. This is the Boston Crab. Very painful. Jack Terry asking Lou Klein if he wants to give it up. Beautiful. With the strength of Lou Klein. Moves Dandy Dan Miller away from that Boston Crab. Dandy Dan Miller as yet has not been able to put on that arm claw hold that has been so effective for him in the past. Arm lock. Dandy Dan gets out of it. Both of these competitors have a lot of respect for one another, and you can tell that the way they're wrestling. Full Nelson by Dandy Dan. I've seen Luke Klein get out a few of these, too. Let's see how he does it this time. And continuing to hang on to that full Nelson, Dandy Dan Miller, Luke Klein, puts his hands underneath his thighs. Let's see what he does. And it's slipping the hands of Dandy Dan Miller off the neck, and he takes him down into a wrist arm lock. Luke Klein getting out of that full Nelson beautifully. Sheer strength. Now into the bridge, Dandy Dan Miller trying to get out of that arm wrist lock that Luke Klein has so beautifully. And look at this, a reversal. An arm lock now by Dandy Dan Miller. Arm lock, Luke Klein spinning. What a beautiful scientific match, fans, you're seeing between Luke Klein and Dandy Dan Miller. Both of these contestants with a lot of respect for one another, and we're going to have to break for this commercial message. Don't you dare go away. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you took my advice last week and phoned this number 9619557, made those reservations for the Cobo Arena, because action gets underway this Saturday night, February the 24th, and action at 8 p.m. The United States heavyweight wrestling champion, The Sheik, will be meeting the world heavyweight champion, Dory Funk Jr. Both have put their title